one of the news items out there, William Barr has told people close to him that he's considering quitting his post because President Trump tweeted about the Justice Department and the cases, particularly of Roger Stone. And so it got me to thinking a little bit. And I'm not going to put D.A. Sundays on the line here on this politically because that's not where we go with him. But I was thinking about, a lot of people are really upset about this idea that the president tweeted and then they changed the sentencing guidelines for Roger Stone. But I was thinking, in your business, taking this and throwing it to the side for a minute, how do you come up with sentencing guidelines? Because, a lot of people out there would like to maybe know, what past history, you're a new offender. I mean, what goes into play here from the standpoint of what you do here in Pennsylvania and particularly in your county?
Sure. Gary, the sentencing, so when we talk about sentencing, we are actually talking about taking into consideration everything we know about a given situation, everything we know about a given offender, the impact on any potential victim. We're taking that all together, and we are trying to fit that into a statutory framework that outlines what the legislature has stated, I'm going to say, is sort of the value of certain crimes.
Okay.
And
so a crime kind of gets a score.
So that's exactly right. So, I've said this many times, but the laws of the land, our legislation, it's the will of the people as spoken through the ballot box. And what happened over time is we have our crimes code here in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. And within the crimes code, we have felonies, we have misdemeanors. Separately, we have summary offenses. And so each of those different offenses carry with them a different maximum penalty. Now, that gives you a lot of leeway between the maximum penalty and the minimum penalty.
Right.
And when we talk about sentencing, Gary, we're not just talking about a prison sentence. Sentencing encompasses so much. It means part of it could mean incarceration. It could mean probation. It could mean house arrest. It could mean
community service.
Community service. There's a thing called guilt without further penalty. There are times where people are charged and then we do a diversionary program that results in no conviction, but they have to do they have to do other things. And so this is all taken into consideration. And what has happened is legally there's what's called the Sentencing Commission in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. And so they are tasked with taking these crimes and coming up with guidelines for a judge. So in Pennsylvania, in the local level, judges are given guidelines, and they're just that. They're guidelines. So a judge can deviate from those guidelines. But those guidelines, it's basically a score someone gets that's based on the severity of the offense committed combined with their criminal record.
Okay.
So criminal record plays a large role here as well. There are very few crimes in the Commonwealth that have mandatory sentences. And typically those are first-degree and second-degree murder. That's the one that people think of the most often, which are mandatory life sentences. In addition to sort of what's on a piece of paper, because remember, Gary, you're taking an action done by a human being that has caused pain and suffering to others, mm-hmm. and you're sort of quantifying that on a piece of paper to a time and a sentence. And you're basically saying to the community that this person committed this crime, and as a result of that, that equals the following. And that's not always the case. There are many, many circumstances where there's so much more that goes into the sentencing. And a lot of times what happens is if someone goes to a trial, or if they what's called pleading open, you're basically saying to the judge, listen, I did this. And it's up to the judge to sentence that individual. And so the judge at the time of sentencing gets a whole report on that person, on their prior record, on what happened in that specific case. Victim input is already built into this through the Victims' Bill of Rights here in Pennsylvania. And so the victims have a say, but at the end of the day, it's up to the judge. And so the judge can make that determination, whatever they feel is appropriate based on their legal reasoning and on the facts and on everything that they decide to take into consideration.
So it's not all cut and dried at all.
Not even
a lot of things going into this, and it's amazing to think about all the factors that really enter into the final decision.
It's extremely complex, and what makes it even more complex is that every single time someone is sentenced, we as prosecutors, the judge, the defense attorneys, the police, everyone involved in the system is saying this is what this person should get as a result of this crime. And we all take it so unbelievably seriously because, like you said, there's a lot of gray area. It's not just person did this offense, it equals this. And so we try to take that all into consideration. At the same time, one of my main considerations is making sure the public is safe. And so if crimes are committed that harm a victim, that are crimes where we need to keep people safe, then we do everything we can to do that and come up with some form of sentence that'll achieve that goal.
Heavy responsibility, my friend. Thank you for all you're doing out there. District Attorney Dave Sunday with us here on WSBA.